Most people treat life like a lottery. They sit back and wait for luck to strike or for the perfect opportunity to knock on their door. They blame their lack of progress on the economy, their boss, or their upbringing. But what if I told you that success isn't something you pursue? What if I told you that success is something you attract by the person you become? We have studied the mind, the systems, and the hunger, but today we explore the missing ingredient, character. There's a fundamental law of the universe that most people overlook in their rush to get rich. It is a law as steady as gravity and as certain as the sunrise. It is the law of the stairway to success. You see, there is no elevator to the top. You have to take the stairs. And the first step isn't a strategy, it's a change in your philosophy. Most people want to have the prize before they do the work, and they want to do the work before they be the right kind of person. But the greats know the order is fixed. You must be before you can do, and you must do before you can have. Today, we're going to stop looking for shortcuts and start building a foundation that can hold the weight of your biggest dreams. He was born in 1926 in the heart of Alabama, the 10th of 12 children. His real name was Hilary Hinton Ziglar, but the world would come to know him by a name that sounded like energy itself, Zig. His life didn't start with a silver spoon. It started with a struggle for survival. When he was just 5 years old, his father died of a heart stroke. 2 days later, his younger sister followed. In the middle of the Great Depression, his mother was left with a house full of hungry mouths and a mountain of grief. They moved to Yazoo City, Mississippi, where poverty wasn't an idea, it was a daily neighbor. He grew up watching his mother manage a family on sheer grit and unshakable faith. He was a boy who sold vegetables and delivered newspapers, learning the value of a nickel before he knew the value of a dollar. He served in the Navy during World War II, and when he came home, he didn't have a college degree or a fancy title. He had a set of cookware and a dream. He was a struggling salesman who was so broke he couldn't even pay his opportunity clock to wake him up. But he had a secret weapon, a mentor who told him he could be the best in the world. This is Zig Ziglar, and he is the man who proved that your attitude, not your aptitude, will determine your altitude. Let's talk about your mind. Most of you are walking around with stinking thinking. You've allowed the hardening of the attitudes to set in. You wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is check the news, which is nothing but a list of things that went wrong yesterday. Then you check your emails, which is a list of other people's priorities for your life. By the time you've had your coffee, your mind is a trash can for negativity. Zig Ziglar taught us that you are what you are and where you are because of what has gone into your mind. You can change what you are and you can change where you are by changing what goes into your mind. You need a checkup from the neck up to avoid hardening of the attitudes. If you feed your mind garbage, don't be surprised when your life starts to smell. You wouldn't let someone dump a bucket of trash on your living room floor, so why do you let them dump a bucket of trash into your brain? Success starts with a mental diet. It starts with a positive mental attitude. And no, that's not wishful thinking. Positive thinking won't let you do anything, but it will let you do everything better than negative thinking will. Zig Ziglar's early years in sales were a masterclass in failure. He was selling wherever aluminum cookware, knocking on doors in the heat of the South. He was working hard, but he was barely making enough to keep the lights on. He was professionally mediocre. But everything changed when a divisional supervisor named P.C. Morrell took him aside. P.C. Morrell didn't give him a new sales script, he gave him a new self-image. He looked at the struggling young man and said, "Zig, I've been watching you. I believe you could be the national champion if you really put your mind to it." Zig had never been told he was great. He had been told he was a 10th child from a poor family. But because a man he respected believed in him, he started to believe in himself. He went from being a peddler to being a professional. He realized that selling wasn't about taking money from people, it was about giving them a solution. He discovered the golden rule of business. You can have everything in life you want if you'll just help enough other people get what they want. That single sentence became the foundation of an empire. It turned a cookware salesman into a global icon. Do you wake up to an alarm clock or an opportunity clock? The words you use to describe your day determine the quality of your life. If you say you have to go to work, you've already lost. But if you say you get to go to work, you've already won. Most people are meaningful wanderers instead of specific goal setters. They aim at nothing and they hit it with amazing accuracy. Zig Ziglar taught us that a goal properly set is halfway reached. You were born to win, but to be a winner, you must plan to win, prepare to win, and expect to win. You can't just hope for the top. You have to schedule your arrival. The stairway is right in front of you. The first step is your self-image. The second is your relationship with others. The third is your goals. Are you ready to stop wandering? Are you ready to stop making excuses and start making progress? Because I'll tell you one thing for sure. The view from the top is a lot better than the view from the bottom. I'll see you at the top. Zig Ziglar didn't just give people warm feelings. He gave them a GPS for greatness. He realized that most people fail in life, not because they lack talent, but because they lack a target. He called them meaningful wanderers. They wake up and wait to see what the day brings, instead of telling the day what to bring. To move from the bottom to the top, you have to understand the law of specificity. You can't hit a target you haven't set. You can't finish a race you haven't entered. Zig introduced a 7-step goal-setting system that changed the corporate world. He taught that a goal must be written down, it must be specific, and it must have a deadline. But more importantly, he taught that you must identify the obstacles you have to overcome and the knowledge you have to acquire. Most people set a goal and then quit the moment they hit a bump in the road. But Zig proved that the bump is part of the road. If you aren't hitting obstacles, you aren't moving fast enough. Success is a series of solved problems. If you want to change your results, you have to change your targets. Stop wandering and start aiming. Let's look at the mental hygiene of a champion. Zig Ziglar famously said that most people need a checkup from the neck up to avoid hardening of the attitudes. He realized that the mind is like a garden. If you don't deliberately plant flowers, weeds will grow by default. Weeds don't need water, they don't need sun, and they don't need permission. They just show up. Negative thoughts are the weeds of the mind. They tell you that you're too old, that the market is bad, or that it's already been done. Zig's solution was the automated input system. He was one of the first to promote Automobile University, the idea of turning your car into a classroom by listening to educational tapes instead of the doom and gloom on the radio. He proved that if you spend just 30 minutes a day feeding your mind with pure, powerful, and positive information, you will eventually become a different person. You can't think loser thoughts and live a winner life. Your outer world is a perfect reflection of your inner dialogue. If you want to change the output of your life, you must change the input of your mind. Are you waiting for inspiration before you start? Then you're going to be waiting a long time. Zig Ziglar taught us the law of the old hand pump. Imagine an old hand pump in the middle of a field. Most people walk up to it, give it 1 or 2 weak pumps, and when no water comes out, they walk away saying, "This thing doesn't work." But the person who understands the law knows you have to pump with everything you've got. You have to pump until your arms ache and your back hurts. You have to pump when it feels like nothing is happening, because deep underground, the water is rising. If you stop pumping for just 10 seconds, the water falls back to the bottom and you have to start all over again. This is why most of you are perpetual beginners. You start a diet, you stop. You start a business, you stop. You never get the water to the top. Success requires total commitment. You have to be all in. You have to pump until the water starts flowing, and once it starts, it flows with ease. But you have to pay the price of the dry pumps first. Are you willing to pump when no one is watching?
Zig Ziglar revolutionized the world of sales by turning it into a world of service. He hated the high-pressure salesman who tried to trick people into a deal. He taught that selling is essentially a transfer of feeling. If you don't believe in what you're doing, you can't expect anyone else to believe in it either. He introduced the trust-based model of influence. He proved that people don't buy things, they buy solutions to their problems. And more importantly, they buy from people they know, like, and trust. He taught that you should sell with your heart, not just your head. To be a world of greats influencer, you must become a problem solver. You must listen twice as much as you speak. You must seek to understand before you seek to be understood. He proved that the most selfish thing you can do is to be unselfish, because when you help enough people get what they want, the universe makes sure you get what you want. This is the law of reciprocity in action. Greatness is not about how many people serve you, it's about how many people you serve. Success is not a destination, it is a journey that starts with your self-image. If you don't see yourself as a winner, you will find a way to lose. If you don't see yourself as worthy of the top, you will subconsciously sabotage your climb. Zig Ziglar taught us that you cannot perform in a manner that is inconsistent with how you see yourself. If you see yourself as a failure, you will find failure opportunities everywhere. But if you see yourself as a champion in training, you will see victory opportunities in every obstacle. You have to fake it till you make it, not by lying to others, but by telling the truth to yourself until your subconscious believes it. The stairway to success is open to everyone, but the elevator is out of order. You have to take the steps. You have to do the work. You have to maintain the attitude. Are you going to stay at the bottom and complain about the stairs, or are you going to start climbing? I'm telling you right now, the view from the top is worth every drop of sweat. Don't stop until you get there.
If you want to understand the difference between a struggling salesman and a world-class legend, you have to look at the law of transferred feeling. Zig Ziglar taught us that enthusiasm is the fuel of the human spirit. The word itself comes from the Greek entheos, which means God within. When you are enthusiastic, you aren't just excited. You are operating from a higher frequency of existence. Most people are room temperature humans. They are neither hot nor cold. They just are. But Zig proved that you cannot influence another human being if you don't possess the fire yourself. Selling is not a battle of logic. It is a transfer of conviction. If you don't believe in your dream, your product, or your future with every fiber of your being, why should anyone else? Enthusiasm is the invisible bridge that connects your heart to the heart of the listener. It overrides doubt, it silences critics, and it makes the impossible feel doable. Zig didn't just tell us to be enthusiastic, he showed us that enthusiasm is a choice. You don't wait to feel enthusiastic to act, you act enthusiastic until you feel it. It is a muscle that must be exercised every single day. Zig Ziglar was a man who believed that the way you treat people is more important than the way you close a deal. He taught the law of long-term influence. He realized that most people are so focused on the transaction that they forget the transformation. He used the metaphor of courtship. He would ask, if you treated your spouse the same way you treated them when you were dating, would you still be married? He applied this to business and life. Success is a continuous dating process. You have to keep winning the people in your life every single day. You can't just be great once, you have to be great consistently. He proved that integrity is the only foundation that can hold the weight of a long-term career. If you lie to a customer to get a sale, you haven't won, you've lost your future with that person. He taught us that character is what you do when no one is looking. If you want to be a world of greats leader, you must be a person of your word. You must be the kind of person that people want to see succeed. Because at the end of the day, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Are you victim of the good enough syndrome? Are you doing just enough to get by? Zig Ziglar taught us that the biggest enemy of great isn't bad, it's good. Most of you aren't failing because you're doing a terrible job. You're failing because you're doing a good job. You've become comfortable. You've settled for the average life. But let me tell you something about average. Average is just the best of the worst and the worst of the best. It's the top of the bottom and the bottom of the top. You weren't born to be average. You were born with winning seeds inside of you. But seeds don't grow in a comfort zone. They only grow when they are pushed, challenged, and stretched. If you're the smartest person in your circle is too small. You need to get around people who make you feel uncomfortable with your current level of success. You need to get around people who expect more from you than you expect from yourself. Stop settling for good and start demanding great. The world is full of good people who are forgotten. The world belongs to the great people who refuse to stop at good. Zig Ziglar never forgot his Southern roots, and he used the biscuits and gravy philosophy to explain the law of persistence. He taught that life is like a kitchen. You can't have the gravy without the grit. He proved that most people want the reward without the risk, and the result without the resilience. He talked about the spirit of mediocrity that tells you to take it easy. But Zig showed us that easy is a lie. Nothing worth having is easy. He taught that you have to work like it all depends on you and pray like it all depends on God. He introduced the concept of the hard work harmony. He realized that the more you do, the more you can do. He was a man who worked well into his 80s, traveling the world and speaking to millions because he didn't believe in retirement. He believed in refirement. He proved that the secret of success is to find something you love so much that you would do it for free and then become so good at it that people are happy to pay you for it. He showed us that work is not a curse, it is a gift that allows us to express our greatness. What are you waiting for? Are you waiting for the perfect time? Let me tell you a secret. The perfect time is a ghost. It doesn't exist. The only time you have is right now. Zig Ziglar taught us that you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Most of you are paralyzed by the what ifs. What if I fail? What if they laugh? What if it doesn't work? Let me ask you a better question. What if you never try? What if you spend the rest of your life wondering what could have been? That is the true failure. Failure is not falling down. Failure is staying down. Failure is never getting in the game. You have the talent, you have the tools, you have the world of greats blueprint in your hands. Now you have to have the courage to use it. Stop getting ready to get ready. Just get started. Put your foot on the first step of the stairway. The view from the top is waiting for you, but it won't wait forever. It's time to move.
As we reach the final step of the stairway to success, we must look at the man behind the microphone. Zig Ziglar didn't just teach people how to sell, he taught them how to live. He realized that the greatest sale you will ever make is the one you make to yourself. He proved that success is not a what, it's a who. He was a man who lived his message every single day. He was a devoted husband, a faithful friend, and a mentor to millions. He taught us that the ultimate goal is not a bigger house or a faster car, it's a life of significance. He realized that success is a result, not a reason. He showed us that true greatness is measured by the shadow you cast on the people around you. He proved that if you want to be successful, you must be significant. He taught us that character is the only thing you take with you when you leave this world. If you want to be a world of greats champion, you must be a person of integrity and influence. You must be the kind of person who leaves the world better than you found it. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is the impact you've made on the lives of others. We have traveled through 13 chapters of human excellence. We have felt the strange secret of Earl Nightingale, the relationships of Dale Carnegie, the energy of Tony Robbins, the systems of Brian Tracy, and the hungry spirit of Les Brown. And now we have the character and consistency of Zig Ziglar. Can you see the blueprint forming? Each of these masters is a key to the vault of greatness. Nightingale gives you the seed,
Carnegie gives you the environment, Robbins gives you the energy, Tracy gives you the plan, Les Brown gives you the permission, and Zig Ziglar? Zig Ziglar gives you the standard. He reminds us that success without integrity is a failure. He proved that you can win without cheating, and you can lead without losing your soul. He showed us that greatness is a whole life commitment. To be a world of great student is to be a person of balance, someone who is as fierce in the marketplace as they are faithful in the home. I want you to look at your life right now. Are you a starter or a finisher? Most people are starters. They start a book, they start a gym membership, they start a business. But the finishers are the ones who get the prize. Zig Ziglar taught us that success is a series of small wins that lead to a big victory. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. You have the tools, you have the technique, and you have the truth. Now you have to have the toughness to finish the job. Stop waiting for the perfect time. The perfect time is right now. You are standing at the bottom of the stairway. The view from the top is waiting for you. Are you going to take the first step, or are you going to stay in the middle and wonder what if? I'm telling you right now, you have the winning seeds inside of you. You were born to win. Now go out there and prove it. As we close this chapter on Zig Ziglar, we are moving to a new horizon. We have moved from the spirit of greatness to the science of salesmanship. You are now equipped with the most powerful social technology ever discovered. You have the blueprints of the billionaires, the mindsets of the masters, and the fire of the legends. But the knowledge is not the power. The execution is the power. Les Brown taught you to feel it. Now Zig Ziglar is telling you to do it. If you don't take action today, this entire series was just entertainment. But if you take one step, if you set one goal, if you change one habit, if you help one person, you have officially entered the arena. You are no longer a spectator. You are a World of Greats practitioner. You are the architect of a destiny that will be spoken about long after you are gone. The view from the top is not for the weak or the wavering. It is for the willing and the work-harders. You have greatness within you. You have the power to change your world. Stop making excuses and start making progress. You are a champion in training. You are a World of Greats leader. The world is waiting for you to show up. Get out of your head and get into your heart. Get out of your comfort zone and get into your growth zone. You were born to win. You were designed for accomplishment. You were engineered for success. Now go out there and live your dream. Zig Ziglar did it. Tony Robbins did it. Earl Nightingale did it. And now it is your turn. Stand up, speak up, show up, because you have greatness within you. I'll see you at the top. This concludes Chapter 13, Zig Ziglar, the Salesman of Hope. You now have the character. The next chapter will test your strategy. Subscribe to complete your journey into the world of greats. Share this with one person who has lost their direction. Help them find the stairs. Stay positive, stay great. We'll see you in the next chapter.